Item number 51. And this is really for you, Supervisor Santino, because I want to know how we ended up here. You and I met a number of times. You had asked me what, aside from removing the henchmen, what was the number one item that was most important to getting the shelter back on track and putting the programs back in and having the animals with kennel enrichment and dealing with the public and all of these things. And I told you, and you agreed, that the hiring of a full-time positive reinforcement behaviorist with accreditations and a background, proven history of developing programs, life-saving programs from a humane organization, not from another government shelter, a humane organization. How did we end up with this resume? How did we end up with a person having not one credential? How did we end up with a person that already has a full-time job out in Southampton and that runs around with a catch pole because she's an ACO and that has been involved with dog breeding, our biggest nightmare and the reason why the shelter is as busy as it is and packed as it is, and goes around summoning residents and finding them?
Well, my information is that we advertised for the position twice, and that we advertised at for a good rate of salary, but it's not salary, remuneration, because it's a contract position. It's not a. Well, I'm getting to it, okay? That we advertised twice, and the only person, one time no one applied, and the second time one person applied. So this was the one person that we had, and the thought was there was a need for a behaviorist. It is someone who has a full-time job elsewhere, but is coming to work for, basically this is going to be effectively a full-time engagement with us. The number of hours we're going to require makes it such, and again, it is that, but to not have a behaviorist. Then
should have a behaviorist. This should not pass today. I am telling you that this is a lie, and that this should not pass. And this is a scheme to defraud the public.
What you counted is that we advertised for it twice and only got one.
The second time, it was never advertised on the 3 links that you had asked me for. It was never there. We managed to turn this job that once had a behaviorist that worked with those animals, that worked with everyone in the shelter, not just a few select 2, with Mr. Pastori and Ms. Tannen and Mr. Dorenz, who, by the way, you told me would be removed from the shelter and is still there. She had newsletters. She had agility classes. She had evening classes. She dealt with the public. She dealt with the adopters. She dealt with staff, with volunteers, the same. This is a job favor. This is not a behaviorist. She's not qualified. She has no qualifications. Why are you spending the taxpayers' money and using this job that is the most crucial job in the animal shelter as a job favor? She's not a behaviorist. She's an ACO. Why? You asked me what the number one most important thing that you could take care of. And this is what you're allowing? She's not a behaviorist. She has no certifications. She has no background. It's a different philosophy. You know what this is? This is Mr. Pastori's animal control philosophy.
She has over 1,000 hours in behavior. The test, the CBT, knowledge assessed requires 300. She has over 1,000. She's taking the test on September 23rd.
Test so she can get this job.
She's taking the test on September 23rd.
Doesn't qualify.
It was preferred. It was not required in the end.
It was supposed to be. It was your job.
She's also.
It was your job.
So hold on. We will maintain good order. Go ahead.
She's worked for Safe Tail Rescue for 3 years.
Supervisor,
let Mr. Denning finish, please.
You didn't make
Let
good order.
Mr.
You almost overthrew the table when he didn't take correct orders.
Let Mr. Denning finish his explanation.
Save the Tail Rescue for 3 years. Yes, she did take a job in Southampton as animal control officer, but her background is in rescue, is in, like I said, Save the Tail Rescue's been in.
She has no certification.
Let him finish, please.
She's had over 1,000 hours. She would not be able to take the test if she did not meet the 300.
Everyone
hours
in
that
your
was
ACOs
required.
has 1,000 hours. This is a scheme to defraud. You're spending taxpayers' money and you're hurting the animals. She cannot, she's not capable of doing the kinds of
What
things.
we will do, with the acquiescence of the board, is that we will wait on this matter until she passes the test. Which she's taking on what date, Mrs. Bennett?
23rd, sir.
Okay. So we will table the item until she passes the test.
And this is going to be a 40-hour-a-week position.
Yeah, virtually, yes.
Not virtually. Is this a full-time position?
So in town, 35 hours is a full-time position. It's a full-time job, full-time engagement.
Mr. Supervisor, I move to sever the item and table the item for time to be determined by the supervisor.
Okay.
I would like to see this RFP go out again. And by the way, before I forget,
Okay.
what I found out is that Laura Miller is a certified behaviorist. She took the certified test.
Well, then she should have applied for the position.
She did apply for the position. She's on an active test. Laura Miller is on an active test. She jumped through every one of the hoops to prove her residency, to give her certification. She drove through a snowstorm.
Hold on, Mr. Denning.
I'll have to check with civil service regarding that, but she did not apply for the RFP twice.
Right.
She's already on the list. Why is she applying for a part-time job when she took your test and she's on an open test and she provided all of everything the town asked for? Why wasn't she hired? Why wasn't the Commissioner of General Services overriding the henchman and calling this woman? I sat there like an idiot, not knowing you had this at your fingertips.
Did not, absolutely
You
not.
absolutely did.
We're not going to debate the matter. We're going to hold this off until this individual passes the test, and I will review the situation with Ms. Miller, which is the first time we're together.
That's very good, I appreciate that. Please do, she's been waiting about 2 years for a phone call.
Anyone else on the administrative calendar?
Mr. Supervisor, there's a motion pending. Can we,
Well, give all the residents first.
okay.
I think this is important, and you need to know that there was another applicant, and she wrote a letter for us to read into the record. Her name is Charlene Sorrentino. She says, to whom it may concern, I was hoping to find an answer as to why someone with my education, experience, and credentials was passed up for the position of the trainer behaviorist. And I also hold a $2 million insurance policy, and I was passed up for someone that has none of the above. I am a multi-certified canine professional in training, behavioral assessment, as well as behavioral modification in all aspects of behavior, including resource guarding, dog aggression, dog humane aggression, separation anxiety, fears and phobia, etc. The town regulations specifically stated that the canine professional chosen must hold a certification with the CCPDT as a
Unfortunately, Ms. DeFina, this person did not respond to the RFP, and there is a process we have to conform to. One person, I will say again, replied to the RFP, okay?
Well,
I don't know where this person comes from. One person replied to the RFP.
It wasn't posted where you said it would be posted. No one would find it.
Well,
she went to Mike Pistori and she asked where and how is she to get a response for applying for this position. And he told her that he had nothing to do with the hiring of the position and he had no idea what to tell her as far as who to speak to. So who's in charge of this, Supervisor Santino, who's in charge of choosing and hiring these behaviors? If Mike Pistori's saying it's not him, then who is it? Kevin Denning, the liaison? I mean, he can barely tell the...
They go through the Commissioner of General Service. I want to
So the
underscore again,
commissioner is
this
responsible.
person did not, only one person applied to the RFP. If you want to submit that for the record, please submit it to the record to the clerk.
No, I'd like to...
The item has been moved to be severed off this calendar. So at this point, I will, it has been moved and seconded. So we're going to vote on the matter to sever this item off this calendar. So
People are not getting an equal opportunity.
Roll the roll,
This
please.
is a budget.
Aye.
Councilman Anderson. Aye. Councilman Blakeman.
Aye.
Councilman Diaz-Padrón.
We have discrimination.
Councilman Councilman
25 Hill Road, Hyde Park, New York. I understand that the resolution has been severed from the agenda. However, just so I have clarification, because it has been severed and you're not voting on it today, does that mean that the person to whom Ms. Defina was referring can apply for the job?
Well, the RFP had the county attorney will be able to tell me that the RFP had a range of dates involved, I would assume, that's how we do things.
I would think at this point, unless we found the selected person, the presumably selected person is unqualified, that the RFP is closed.
No, your job is to...
Wait. I didn't call on you, Ms.
Your
Madden.
job-
Ms. Madden, this other lady had the floor. You can't just get up and come to the microphone. I will run this meeting. Okay, you have spoken on the administrative calendar. I did not let someone else come back. I can't do that with you. It is now this lady's turn.
I'm the lady. So, can you tell me that in terms of Laura Miller, who Ms. Madden is referring, can you explain, because she, at the time that the RFP was put out, she was on the list, she had taken the test, she was qualified, are you saying that she actually had to apply for that position, or she was on the
One
list?
is a contract as opposed to an employee. So the RFP is for someone to serve as a contractor to the town as opposed to an employee of the town. But I'm looking into that because that's the first I've heard her name.
Okay.
But for the moment, we have severed this item off this calendar. No action will be taken today. We will await the date that was given to me relative to the test that is being taken by the person whose name is on the calendar for today. And based upon that, then we'll determine a future course of action.
What I would like to suggest, though, in terms of what Mr. Rob was saying, is that you seriously consider reopening the RFP, since it appears to me, judging from what has been said, that there are perhaps many people who would have applied for the job had they been told.
Well, again, we also, Mr. Deary actually has the websites that we put it on, and we'll go over that. So it was advertised on several websites as well as the town's website. Go ahead.
Yes, it was posted on animalsbehaviorcollege.com and Animal Network. So those two, in addition to belonging on Business News and the town's website.
Right. So it wasn't done under a rock. It was put out there into websites of interested individuals in this field. But we're taking no action today.
Okay, and my last comment is, the answer to a problem is not to hire the only person who comes along. Maybe the answer is to open something once again, and instead of saying, I have to hire this person, saying, you know what, let's look further and cast a wide net.
Very good. Thank you very much.